by Avo Technology.
In this world, there are many people who are of mixed blood with gods. They can see the magical world hidden beneath the mist from a young age. Percy is one of them. However, every time he tries to tell others about what he sees, no one believes him. He is even ostracized everywhere because of it. The only thing he has is a sketchbook that records the whimsical imagination of this child. One day, a classmate throws leftover food at him again. Guoshi can't take it anymore. Just as he is about to confront them, a mysterious force directly pushes the female classmate into the water pool. But Percy is too busy to pay attention because his pen is shaking violently. To make things worse, his most respected teacher, Mr. D, keeps transforming into an ugly bat. The large bat takes off and then presses Percy, who is in chaos, underneath, roaring loudly. Suddenly, a sharp pain strikes. When she looks down, she sees a light sword inserted into her abdomen. The bat screams in pain and instantly turns into ashes. Because the girl insists that Percy pushed her into the water, the school decides to suspend her for a month. Percy tries to defend himself, but Grover says that the facts are as she described because he witnessed it. Percy is shocked and can't believe how the guy can distort the truth without any guilt. Anxious and hesitant, Percy stands in front of his house, unsure of how to explain the suspension to his mother. However, when he enters the house, he sees his mother enjoying the rain on the balcony with a serene expression. Upon seeing her son return, she turns around and embraces him. Instead of blaming Percy, she comforts him and decides to take him to Montauk by the seaside for a few days to ease his mood. The seaside was hit by a raging rainstorm. On the sea, there seemed to be a strange figure, half human and half monster, with a hoarse voice repeatedly urging to escape quickly in Percy's dream. The car had already stopped next to a small wooden house. His mother was wiping tears, lost in thought. The small wooden house, although not large, exuded warmth. Percy shared with his mother the strange events that had happened to him. It was only when he mentioned almost dying at the hands of the bat monster that his mother decided to reveal the truth. The alcoholic man at home was not Percy's father. His real father was not human. This small wooden house was where they met and fell in love over a decade ago. Percy could see monsters because he had half-god blood. Just as Percy was about to inquire about his father, a knock on the door interrupted them. A boy barged in, and to Percy's surprise, it was Grover. Strangely, Grover's feet had turned into goat hooves. He looked even more nervous than Percy, and urgently urged them to leave. It wasn't until they were on the road that Grover revealed the truth. He was a mix of human and goat, and his mission was to protect Percy. The appearance of the Bat Lady signaled that demons were after Percy. For his safety, Grover had to fabricate a lie to shock Percy, and now their only task was to escape. As they spoke, a spark of lightning flashed overhead, and the monstrous Minotaur panted heavily as it chased them from behind. Its massive body easily smashed through the car window, causing chaos on the road. In desperation, Percy's mother shifted gears and slammed the accelerator, narrowly escaping. Minotaur was also directly hit and thrown out by the oncoming car. The car went out of control. Fortunately, none of them were in life-threatening danger. They helped each other and continued their escape. Grover informed everyone that there was a barrier at the mountaintop, and they were not far from the safe zone. Unfortunately, the three of them had to part ways because Percy's mother, being human, couldn't cross the barrier. Just at that moment, the Minotaur followed the scent and caught up with them. Percy's mother hurriedly picked up Percy's jacket and urged them to leave quickly. She then shook the jacket and loudly attracted the Minotaur's attention. With a weak gesture, she extended her arm, but turned into a wisp of flying ash before she could speak. Percy was filled with grief and anger, but all he had in his hands was a pen. The pen sensed his anger and transformed into a glowing sword. The Minotaur noticed Percy not far away, and both of them charged towards each other at a rapid pace. At the moment of collision, Percy was instantly thrown aside by the impact. The Minotaur roared wildly, then picked up a huge rock from the ground. Taking advantage of the Minotaur's horns entangled in vines, Percy agilely climbed up its hind legs. The Minotaur spun frantically. unable to shake off Percy. It continued to collide, but other than breaking its own horns, it didn't achieve much. In a crucial moment, Percy yanked off one of the Minotaur's horns and ruthlessly stabbed it. The monster instantly turned to dust. When Percy woke up again, all he saw was a looming dark figure beside him, and a creature that was half human and half beast. This is a centaur named Chirong, the administrator of this safe zone. Gods often have relationships with humans, resulting in many demigods. When these children reach a certain age, they are brought here because this safe zone was specially created for them. The nearby mountain peaks have barriers protecting the safe zone, invisible but effective in preventing humans and demons from entering. The 12 gods have each built their houses here, and any child of a god can safely reside. Percy doesn't know who his father is, so Chirong takes him to the house of the god of travel, the most gentle and kind god. All unclaimed children temporarily stay here. Percy feels uneasy, unaware that his fame spread when he killed the Minotaur. The boy plans to help Percy familiarize himself with the environment, but a curly-haired girl named Teresa, the daughter of the god of war, deliberately provokes and pushes Percy down. She doesn't believe Percy could defeat the Minotaur with his small frame. After Teresa leaves, Luke tells Percy that the children here are all offspring of gods, and rebelliousness is inherited. To gain respect, one must earn glory, and there are various ways to achieve it, such as archery or blacksmithing. Neither of which seems to be Percy's strength.
Is there a Greek god of disappointment?
Since arriving, Percy has had a tough time, especially with Teresa constantly bothering him. They even push Percy into the restroom, forcing his head into the toilet. Suddenly, the situation becomes chaotic as 3 water jets shoot up, powerful enough to push the 3 troublemakers out. Percy looks at the damaged wall in confusion, and a small girl, leaning against the doorframe, silently observes everything. Her name is Annabeth, the daughter of the god of travel and Luke's sister. She knows about Clarissa's plot, but chooses to observe, wanting to see if Percy has the ability to help himself. It turns out that the sacred place holds an annual Capture the Flag competition, with red and blue teams on opposite sides of the river. The first to capture the opponent's flag wins. Percy and the Luke brothers are on the blue team, while the annoying Clarissa is on the red team. At the start of the game, Annabeth leads Percy away from the team, despite his continuous questioning. The horn sounds in the distance, and the red and blue teams engage in intense battle, evenly matched. Unable to determine a winner,
Game on.
Percy is left dumbfounded as Annabeth disappears. Listening to the distant sounds of battle, Percy is bored. Perhaps the blue team thinks he's too weak and doesn't want him to join the fight. Suddenly, a few figures emerge from the shadows, including Clarissa, who often bothers him. Panicking, Percy grabs a long sword and shield, but is unable to withstand Clarissa's ruthless attacks. The 3 of them quickly surround him, and Percy is powerless to resist, especially against their fierce moves. Desperate, Percy retreats to the seaside, with nowhere else to run. However, Clarissa doesn't let him go. During the fight, Percy accidentally breaks Clarissa's long spear, enraging her. It was her exclusive magical weapon. Just then, a commotion is heard from behind. Luke forcefully plants the opposing team's flag into the soil, and the blue team starts cheering loudly for their victory. Clarissa, unwillingly, pushes Percy away and leaves. Percy can finally catch his breath. Suddenly, Annabeth reveals that she arranged for Percy, unknowingly, to attract the opponent's attention while she secretly stole the red team's flag. Annabeth pulls Percy up, but unexpectedly pushes him into the water. Just as Percy is about to curse, everyone's attention turns to him. A miracle happens. Percy's wounds are rapidly healing, and a trident appears above his head.
Your dad's called.
It turns out that Percy's father is the sea god, Poseidon. Children claimed by the gods get to stay in their exclusive houses. Percy finally learns that his father is the most powerful god in mythology. However, before he can celebrate, Chiron gives him a challenging task. Zeus's lightning bolt has been stolen, and Chiron accuses Poseidon of the theft. He demands Percy to return it within a week. However, the real thief is Hades, the god of the underworld. Chiron instructs Percy to retrieve the lightning bolt from the underworld, but Percy is reluctant. Fighting between gods can be disastrous, especially for an unarmed child like him. Suddenly, his friend Grover bursts in with shocking news. Percy's mother is alive. When the Minotaur killed her, she turned into ashes, but this was not a typical human death. The gods believe that Hades saved her. Grover overheard this information, and now urges Percy to go to the underworld, both to save the Earth and bring his mother back.